Okay, it had to come sooner or later. It's inevitable. Now, let's talk about this thing. We already know that there's no such thing as a black person, no such thing as a white person. That's been established. Okay? So, when you talk about these different people, what do you call someone that's interracial? Where do they fit? You know? Because I've been looking at this subject for a while. And it seems to me they were lost. Yeah, that was a couple of interracial kids in the background. Okay? So let's deal with this, okay? Tired of being swept under the table, hid in the closet, people trying to pass. That's got to be in the past. It can't be the future. Alright? Because something else has occurred. Okay? Let me tell you from my perspective. Alright? One you cannot have, you have to be one to be able to verify this. Now the rest of you just have to take our word. Okay? Now here's what happened. You made across two or more races. Here's what happens when in my position. You get pushed. Now, there's no such thing as white people or black people, right? And so their brains already messed up because they're going around calling themselves something that they're not. Now, here you come along, they tell you you're part white and you're part black. Okay, now you're part of two non-existent people that you can see with your eyes, but legally they don't exist because there's no such thing. Okay, now you're half of nothing and half of nothing. Half of nobody and half of nobody. Oh, you really screwed up. And here's what happens. When you try to lean this way, the white people, in their mind, they don't mean no harm. They don't really know they're doing it's not intentional or whatever. Sometimes it is. They push you over here in the black category, okay? Because you're not white enough. It shows that you're black. To them, they can see it, feel it. You're different, okay? And over here in the black world, they push you over to the white side because you're not like them. You're different. You're kind of whitish. Now you're blackish to the white people and you're whitish to the black people. Now you have nowhere to go. They kept doing this and they kept making us and kept making us. They kept making somebody half Mexican and half Asian. They kept making these breeds, right? And kept displacing them until I got the idea. Well, I didn't just get the idea until I realized what is. See, now we got our own race, okay? Now, so nobody don't have no name for it because those that made me are these people. Hey, they can say, hey, I'm half this and I'm half that. You're nothing. How can you be a half a person? Okay? I'm mixed. Are you a squirrel? Are you a calico? I don't know about all that, okay? All I know is over here in my particular branch, now we can call ourselves something that's not neither black nor white. So we're doing better than both these people because they don't have no name. They don't know who they are. They're lost. We know where we're at. We know where we came from. All right, we don't have to go back that far. All right, they don't let us go back that far. We can't go back into white history. We can't go back into black history because we didn't exist until them two people came together. All right. So we have our own race now in the middle. Now we're the mediators. We're in the middle. We're better than everybody because we know how he thinks and we know how he thinks. You know, we know what they're up to, and we know what they're up to. We know what they are doing to them, and we know how these are getting away with doing this to them. Puts us in a gravy spot. Used to try to offer us key positions to keep us cool, all right? Whoever was in power, all right? If you were in the hood or you was in the corporate world or whatever, in the other world, they always offered you these gravy positions, okay? Based on the fact that you were a breed, all right? It's like it shows when they on the application, are you bilingual? Or when someone can speak multiple languages, they're a better applicant. Okay, well, that shows. Well, that's how it was. It didn't show with the breeds. You know, it's like unspoken. Okay, you know, we're one of them. We don't have a category. We don't have a box we can check. All right, some just break down and check this box over here because that's how they get treated, and that's what they were told they was, and that's where they had. You know, that's how it goes. Okay. So coming out the universal mutt, because the black was black, but it was more than one kind of black. You know, Native American black, it was more than one kind of black, and the white wasn't just white, because there's no such thing as white. And so it wasn't just one culture. All right. Cultures had came together to make that person who made the person that made me. It gets complicated. So I come and end up being the universal mutt. I'm not a pure blood, nothing, but I got enough of me. I got enough of everybody in me to be empathic. And I don't mean like have empathy. I mean like as in telepathic, means I can lock onto their wavelength. And almost jump over there in their shoes. And I relate to them like that, and they feel it. Wow, he's got to have a little us in him. And that's how I got this far. Okay, now let's deal with this issue. Okay, everybody raise their hand who think an identity crisis, a national identity crisis, is cause for alarm. You understand what I'm saying? Countrywide amnesia. Everybody who were told who they were was lied to. That's not who they are. And everybody standing there, all of a sudden lost, like, damn, I really don't no longer know who I am, because the person that told me was lied to, and the person who told them was lied to. The main point is it was all a lie. It's going to take me a minute. They're going to sit down. And the problem is they can't get back up until you give them a way out. So you can't just sit there saying there's no such thing as a white person. There's no such thing as a black person. And who am I if I'm not him and I'm not him? And this is our wrong name. We're Latin. We're not geographical. We're not like Panamanian and Mexican and Brazilian. There's no, we're the same people. What happened? And how come we don't speak Latin? And how come we don't write it? We have amnesia too. Amnesia is so bad that we didn't even know we had it. We didn't even remember that we forgot something. We didn't even know we forgot it. Wait a minute, hold on. This is looking like the Twilight Zone. Jeez. I seen the black people was lost. I thought, hey, the white people erased their brains during slavery. All right? But I also seeing that these white people look like, really? You guys in charge? How did you ever get this far without our help? It's like you can't do nothing without me. And it just didn't make sense. And so when you call them on them, like, hey, they didn't know who they were. They're checking the box, say Caucasian, and then they didn't know what a Caucasian was. And where is Caucasia? You know? That's where we're from. You know? No. See? Amnesia. Whoa. That's not an accident. So this ain't just about mixed breeds. This is about the look. In the middle is where these mixed ones are. All right, balance is that's the point you want to get to in all things. They're already put there. All right, you need their mentality to think your way out of this because you're too close to this side and you bias to that side. You know, and so what makes this mind fuck work is you agreeing to be part of a group, to be segregated, us and them, these imaginary groups, even amongst your same people, you in groups, and it showed in the fruit that you bear, in the children. They was talking about, we from the South, we from the North, I'll kill you, man, and look just alike twins, all right, and I'm like, wow, you know, so like I said, it ain't just black people who don't know who they is. White people don't know who they are. And so-called brown people aren't brown people. Okay? What is you saying in yellow people? Come on, this is not Sesame Street. There is no 7-foot tall canaries. Alright? That's the wrong message to send your kid about the world. Running around out here looking for Big Bird. Side effects. They spoke a little too soon. Side effects of this. See, with each and every people, there's something that makes them a people, that separates them the other borders, all right? Even though they separate themselves within them people, there are borders that make them similar, okay? It's in the DNA. Now, when you go to mix in these borders, you don't know what you're doing. Or when you walk by a person, you would just merge with them, or part of you would just rub off on them if that was the way it was supposed to go. Okay? Here's what I see what happens when someone mates with those so-called black people. The child comes out dark like them, no matter what. It can have eyes just like Asian. It could have features just like a white person, but it comes out dark just like them. Now, how does the child think? Do you naturally think a certain way because you're born of this race? Do you naturally walk a certain way because you're born this way? Of course you do. You have physical characteristics that make you do that. Some people's legs are shorter than each other's, so they're not going to walk the same as a tall person. Come on, everybody, get real. Don't even get tired of you like don't want to talk about it because you don't know how to talk about it. Okay? People are different. They are built different. We don't even have the same skeleton. That's a lie, man, sitting there showing us all the same medical books and the same thing like these same pictures of the earth. It's making people crazy, okay? There's got to be more than 8, 12 pictures of the earth in all this time, in the same old picture. Well, the skeleton is what you've been seeing may not be your skeleton, in case you didn't figure that out. Because our skeletons are different, our bodies are shaped different because that's the frame they're built on. Okay, you getting it? That's why people look different. They have a different frame on the inside. Okay, they have basically the same organs. Okay, but the frame allows them organs to grow different sizes. Everybody don't have the same size kidneys, the same size heart, or nothing. Okay, they're different. And no one wants to talk about it because the person that was in charge for some reason got in their head, we're going to smooth over the fact that we're different. I don't know, they were ashamed or they were different or something. Someone put the concept of embarrassment into their life and into their world, into their creed, and they went insane and got on this differences thing, what you call racism. But it's just differences. It's just deeper than your skin. Okay? All right? Now, then it was like big taboo to talk about it. We don't talk about them kind of things except to each other. And everybody's talking about the other ones behind their back. I know I'm the universal mutt. Everybody dropped their guard around me. Oh, we ain't talking about him. We talking about the rest of them. But they just said I was one of them when they called them the rest of them. You know, like I'm an exception, but I'm still one of them. See how we've been lost? So I'm gathering up, when I'm gathering the ones don't have to be part of a race, a part of nobody. And who you think gonna be the first ones to run up? The orphans. The orphans gonna finally say, I got somewhere I see where I fit. You know, and they're gonna be first on the front line. Okay, who you think the breeds are? All right, they have family, but you know, you got a little of them people in them. That's why she's a little kooky, crazy. That's what everybody called other people. That's what everyone calls crazy. All right, let me explain to you about weird, crazy, and strange. When you hear someone use those words, they're saying, this is above my intelligence. I'm not smart enough to figure this out. Anything that is beyond their comprehension, the ceiling of their learning, that's what crazy is. Outside of what they know. Okay? It's crazy to them. It's weird to them. It's strange to them. It's not weird. It's not weird. It's not strange. It's not crazy. They are. Alright? Because they don't realize what they're saying and what is going on. That means that they're insane. That means they're out of touch with what is, if they don't realize what is. Alright? And they don't realize what is. When you point at something and you say it's crazy, it's strange, it's weird, you're not saying anything about it. You're saying something about yourself. You're saying that doesn't make sense to me. I can't figure that out. So you may think you're saying something about it, like it's weird, or it's strange, or it's crazy. But you're saying, I'm only this smart. I don't know enough to figure that out. And these are the words that people use. They think they're really putting something down. Oh, look at that crazy fool. What did you just told me that you don't understand him. That's what you told me. You ain't got him figured out. So he's weird. He's strange. You can't call it. Okay, I understand what you're saying. Maybe you need to learn more. And because he's no puzzle to me. I got him figured out. He's not crazy to me. That's how someone's going to come to you. Okay, so that's the weird and crazy and strange. But let's get back to the point. The point is about race and the whole insanity about differences passed on to everyone who was cloned. That means that you're part of a system of, you're told in order to come and make it within these borders, you're going to have to walk and talk like I tell you. You're going to have to do like me, okay? This is what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to do, don't worry about the children playing their crackdown. Failed attempt at the same thing. In the end, no one will be able to even distinguish what it is because of the words. They're letting you know it's a natural environment, okay? You may hear flies buzzing and dogs barking. Do you hear the birds tweaking? Children, and the sounds are no different. Don't let it bother you, okay? We're talking about race here, okay? They reminded me of what the subject, just like the first batch. Now, I will talk about the side effects later, but let's talk about the subject of differences. Not when those differences come together. That's when you have to deal with the consequences of that action. was talk about the differences, period. It's a fact that no two things are the same. So not only are so-called types or races of people different, everyone within those races are different from each other. Ain't no two people the same. There's no we. Even if they call themselves their brother, even if they are twins and they call them identical, they're not. They know they're not. Their family members know they're not. You might can't tell the difference between two grains of sand, but they're not the same. So, what? Okay, they're different. That is the order of things. Everything is different. Okay, so I'm going to tell you what is insane about dealing with this subject so it can be put to rest once and for all. It is insane to get mad at a fly for flying. See how crazy they've made you? I'm going to show you the symptoms. To get mad at a fly for being a fly. Okay? To get mad at a dog for barking is insane. Dogs bark. To get mad at a child for being a child, you're the one that's crazy and you need to have that checked. To get mad at a woman for being a woman, a man for being a man, a car for being a car, or anything for being what it is, for you to lose your composure because what is means something's wrong with you. You're in error. Because is, was before you, and shall be after you, and on and on and on. You're the thing that's acting funny style. You're the thing that's not in order and accord with what is. You're the thing that's in error. You're what's off. Your thinking is off. So your actions is off. And the totality of that is you're what's off. So don't be pointing your finger at something else is crooked because you're standing at a slant. So, it's a lifetime occupation to take care of yourself, maintenance yourself, and get what you need from your toenail up to your fingernails, up to your eyes and your head. And keep replenishing this supply your whole lifetime. Preoccupation with anything else is insane because you don't have time for that. You have time to get what you need and to do what it is you will to do. And then do it. You don't have time to be doing something else. You know, time to get up in the system that tells you you got to crawl before you walk. To get you to do something else other than what you want to do. Well, I'm just doing this in the meantime. Get enough money, then I'm going to go start my own. And then you talk to the old man. Ask him about that plan and how that worked out for him. Get to the way things really is. Not somebody's opinion. If you get to what is, see, here's what the old man knows and tells, okay? You got to get it now, all right? Listen to it. If I knew what I knew now back then, I would have did things differently. What does he mean? Not making the same mistake more than once will get you really, really far. He means a lot of things. Listen to him. Check that out. In the middle of one of the most important notes in history, somebody comes by and takes a snipe at me and neuralize me. Let that be note on that same phenomena. What is the reason for mentioning these bizarre things in the middle of these serious notes? in the future they'll know that's how it got banned and outlawed. I kept pressing the issue and kept drawing attention to it where a person could not ignore it as just, what did he say? What did that mean? And what this vampire thing, what is it actually? Is it real? It's not Santa Claus. Okay? There's two types of vampire. Alright? There's a human being with what you call psychic abilities. Okay? Can scan you and the effects of it make you lose your train of thought. And then there's the mechanical one. Alright? There's really more than two, because there's more than two kinds of mechanical vampires. Alright? There's the kind of mechanical vampire that can neuralize you and your thoughts. Alright? And there's the kind of mechanical vampire that can feed on the amount of electric or energy you put out. Same way with the flesh and blood vampire. Alright? It's really more than two. You know, a vampire can feed on your blood. Alright? Where a vampire can feed on the energy you put out too. Okay? Like a solar panel. It can feed on it. Okay? Thought or whatever. Now, this is the reason we're sticking these notes in here. When we talk about races, let's talk about some things. See, physical ability and mental ability are like that yin-yang concept. Okay? The energy flows from one to the other. Now, when one is injured or restricted, the energy doesn't shrink. The same amount of energy is flowing. It's just more of it is flowing in the other direction now, because it can't flow freely through this end. That means you sustain physical injury, you're going to get a mental compensation. You're going to get heightened intelligence. That's why you see really brainy people in wheelchairs. Well, unbeknown to you, a lot of people that you call handicapped have psychic abilities that compensate for their physical abilities, not just intelligence. That ain't the full compensation. All right, it has to be something that can make things move in return, in compensation for you not being able to physically make it move. You understand? A way of manipulating the world around you since you can't physically do it. That's what compensation is. So, like I said, our bodies are not all the same. They're different. Starting with the framework, and then it goes in and out from there. A different frame rib cage causes different size organs. A different frame rib cage, different muscles form on the outside, causing a different shaped person. See how it works? That's why people look different. Okay? Everything starts from core, middle, and goes in all directions. I will eventually rewind someday and put probably edit in where I got Vampire at, because I'll re-spark the thought. Just stay with us, and let's deal with this appearances thing. It is. If you're not dealing with is, you're insane. No matter what you were taught, no matter what you thought. See, remember, we haven't got to that yet. Alright? Earlier, I defined crazy to a point where a person now can tell you pretty much what it is and understand what it is. But they still can't tell you what thinking is and what is the substance of thought. not the most learned, the wisest, in no land. You can call all the king's wisest men, and you can call all Harvard and all Yale, and they cannot answer that question. What is thinking? And what is thought made of? Once I was early, I thought, and they told me, I thought I had the definition. I read it in a book. Thinking is the manipulation of memories. Manipulation is a vast word, and it still doesn't tell you how to do it, or what is actually being done, in which way are they being manipulated, and how does the manipulation work. They didn't have that part. They didn't have that part. And I had to take it from what they had and do my own work. And here we are. In spite of the background noise, it's what you call live. Okay? Notice the difference. See, when you hear a recording, someone can do certain things to it. In a live recording, if it just skips or does any little thing, you'll hear the air change. The bird got cut off in the middle of what it was saying. That doesn't happen. Birds don't stop talking in the middle. You know, that car engine quit and it started back when it passed by. You'll hear the cut from the natural sound. It's a security precaution. Understand the greedy hands who say, hey, what he's saying is so powerful, if we can just take that and bend it to our means. You know, that's been the line of thinking for everything who has ever came through any of these people's paws for as long as I've been here on this planet witnessing them. That's why that's the answer to the $1 million question. Why did he make a deal with somebody before? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do this? Why did he do this? Look, I've been saying this since I was a kid. And I could probably think of something better to say, but it's such a good example about it came to me, kept asking myself, why me? Once I seen it clear what was going down, I went to asking myself, why me? How I get picked? Well, why me? All right, I went to asking that question. Look, everyone seemed to be like the same thing. I don't care what race they were. I didn't care none of this. I saw something that was the same about everybody. All right. If you asked them a question, they all gave the same answer. That was impossible because there was nothing about them the same. But they kept doing this. If you asked them, if you were invisible, what would you do? You know what all the men said? I'll rob a bank. And then the second wave said, I'll go in the girls' locker room or something to that effect because I can't be seen. All right, I'll go watch the Halle Berry or something like this here. All right, to something sexual. I mean, across the board, no different. It's like asking a girl what she wanted to be 20 years ago. She had two responses. I'm going to be a legal secretary or RN. That meant I'm going to marry a doctor or a lawyer. That's what that plan was. And it was like robots. Hit again, but we would go on. It boiled down to because they would have made different choices than you did. And they all see you now. I've lived and seen they all made different choices than I did. What to use their powers for. See, they all had powers. Money power, equipment power, group power, influence, connections, or whatever different types of what you call power. That makes the atoms move is power. All right? Energy to cause motion. Something still and dead is not power, and it takes no power and uses no power. Okay? Things that move need power. That you need to know. Now, so that's what it's about. What is. What is people are different. Live with it. You might want to get to know everything you can about it, because you got, like you program you got to live in this world, and they're here. Handling it bad is like driving a car not being able to drive well, which means you can't navigate through life well if you can't deal with people well. So if you don't know how to drive, now you see it, getting it? Why you need to know people? You need to know the streets. You need to know the roads. You need to be able to read the signs. You have to be able to deal with other traffic. You're not the only one on the road. So, know what you're dealing with. Know an ambulance, and know you should pull over. All right? When you see this situation right here, you should just pull over to the side of the road and get out the way. Okay? No, you shouldn't flip a U-turn and go to the rescue. These are the instructions that is coming. See, first of all, the 2020 report is basically a worldwide free presentation of what is undeniable by anyone, so that we're all on the same page, so to speak. See, the problem is those that figured out a thing or two here and there couldn't get an ear because people were pretending they didn't understand what they were saying. They understood them clearly. They even had them thoughts themselves, but they didn't want to give this person the credit for bringing it up first, or bringing it up at the right time. The games people play with each other. So how you get a thought out there where you can expect someone to act like they know and not be ignorant or ignoring it and acting ignorant, is when it was put everywhere across the world and everybody saw it. And so you can't act like you didn't see it and act like you didn't know. Okay? The whole sun blacked out. You were on this planet. All right? Now you can expect them to act like they know. So take that power that stars and different people have and put the right thing in there. Not shake your butt down to the ground. No. Sorry. No offense. The right thought. Might have been said since ancient times. It just wasn't delivered in the right way. Might have been delivered well, but it wasn't well enough to cause what we're causing to happen now. Finally got it right. Feel me? And it was predicted that this would be the time when it got right. You know, where I would have thought when they were telling me as a kid it was going to be me or had anything to do with it. If it was, the evil that be would have stomped me out a long time ago, because I'd have gave myself away. I'd be like, did you know who I am? You know, because there was a time when I was crazy like that. I was insane just like that, trying to find a reason to tell someone, you must not know who I am. You know, I was just like you. But I'm past that now. So, the breeds stopped the argument. They put their hand on mom's chest and they put their hand on dad's chest and said, y'all make me sick. What does the breed mean? You're driving me crazy. Is what the child means. You're driving me crazy. When the child tells you you make me sick, it means his brain can't handle the thought of what you just did. It has nothing it can express. It's like, beyond, I hate what you did. can't stand you. You don't know that that statement is one hair away from a thought that can make them faint. I mean, just drop right there in front of you. Can't stand at all. That's what the is. Okay? That's complete all energy being held back, which would cause them to implode, pass out. That's what is. If you ever did it, you can feel it. It's you using all your power to go nowhere. All your power is roaring, but you holding it back. That's what is. You don't want to make kids do that. You don't want to make old people do that. It's physically damaging, believe me. Psychologically damaging too. So, let's get back to the point. Because I'm all over the road. I've been neuralized twice in one note. This note must really be important. Believe me, I will rewind and fill in the blanks. Think about the subject. Okay, it's finally over. Finally over? So I'm going to remind you one last time. Okay? You are what you eat. That isn't a cute saying. You are made up of whatever you put in your mouth. It makes your skin. It makes your eyeballs. No, you're not made. Skin falls off. Your whole body is completely regenerated in less than 40 hours. It is eaten up or deteriorated and regenerated. New skin grows and on and on and on. That's why you don't look the same. Okay? And if you don't do any maintenance for these amount of days, you will see dead skin everywhere. Okay? So, you're made up of what you eat. Okay? And you begin to take on the characteristics of whatever you eat. You eat oranges, it makes a certain type of person. We're mutable, as I said. What you do is also the same as what you eat. That means that if you pick up rocks every day, you have a body designed to pick up rocks. If you jump, you have jumping legs. If you run, you have running legs or running body. If you play basketball, you have basketball hands. Football, you have a football arm or football playing body. So eating and what you do dictates who you are. Okay? Now, what is eating? Intake. You don't just take in food. Alright? You are breathing in gases and things that also make up who you are. The air has to be in the blood and different things. You're breathing in particles that are in the air. These particles make up who you are too, just as much as the food that you're eating. These particles make up the food that you're eating. Alright, just as much. So, all you have to do is think about this. It's not just what I'm eating, it's what I'm breathing. Air makes me up too, so the particles that I'm breathing in become part of my makeup. This is where some of these little bumps and stuff are coming from, germs in the air and skin problems. Like, what is happening to me? Something must have bit me. No, it came in through your air and got in your blood. Okay, so what you're breathing in. Okay, now what are these particles? Look, you're also breathing out gases. You breathe in air, but you breathe out carbon dioxide and particles of you, just like skin. You can just like someone could take some of your skin and get your DNA. They can get particles. They can detect who you are from your breath. Your breath in your bag, in a bag, can identify you. And that's where we're at now, because we're more aware of things. There's not just air out there around you, even though you can't see it. There's like literally millions of particles and living things passing through that air that you can't see. Okay, now some of those particles is the breath of other people, and their DNA and particles is in that breath, and everyone is connected by this air or this gas that we live in, and their particles are being breathed in by you, and part of them have become you. And this has been going on so many generations that everybody's claiming to be different, but all these similarities I found show that they were linked in some kind of way. There's no way they could have these similarities and be so different. And I found the link. It's not what you call the air, because it's not just the air. I told you, hundreds of thousands of gases and particles and creatures and stuff. It's a network of stuff that is undetected, flows in you, through you, and out of you, undetected, except for your role you play in your lungs going in and out, or coughing. It's very touched and studied, only for pollution, and we can't detect. We don't have the equipment to detect everything. The animals are looking at things that are there, and we know they're there, but we still can't detect them. I don't know what my cat's looking at, but it sees something for sure. That kind of stuff. This thing we're in, that we live in, see, if it was water, you could picture us all on water together, and we probably feel more in harmony. We all share the water. I put out water, you take in water. We are all one with the water. But this is a thing you call air. We're gonna have to give it another name, because it's more than just air, and I'm working on it. But this is our connection to everything. This has made everybody one, like one race, one people. That's why people be saying, I feel like I got a little black in me, or this and that, or this, and then you may think, oh yeah, everybody said that, and you think that they're lying. But when you look in their face, do they look like they're lying? And you say to yourself, oh, he really believes that. Why does he believe that? He said, it's just a feeling I got. I'm telling you on a microscopic level, they're telling you the truth. We're all in, everybody's all in now. You're talking about some ancient stuff when things were separated and there were these kinds. Man, there's been so much mixing and so many breeds and rebreeds and breed, man, that caused the identity crisis, where everybody got lost and didn't know who they were anymore. It wasn't like we got nuked from outer space. It was almost a natural occurrence. Someone can say, hey, God, I confused the tongues. I wasn't there. All I know is that's pretty much what happened. I just see it happen a lot slower. I don't see it happening in a boom one day. I could be, all right? I'm not saying that I know for sure. I'm just telling you what is now, that this has occurred. Not how it had occurred or what was behind it occurring, just the motion that it took occurring, okay? No one's who they think they are, or who they claim, or who they were told they were, because those people were bred out, the pure bloods were bred out long ago. And no one admits it. They want to admit they're not pure. That's a little tainted. They get that from the leader. The leader was on that thing, pure blue blood and all that. There's a story behind that too, but I'm going to let them tell it, because other people telling this story causes hate groups and haters. If they tell their own story, it's more acceptable. I seen that on the TED Talks. You know, when this so-called white man stood up there and told the story of the Native American and what the white man did to him. If anybody else had told that story, everybody would have been up in a roar. But he did it, and he pulled it off. And I learned something that day. Yeah, things are better when people confess. You know, because if you got to be found out or proven, man, they want to hang you. But when you confess and throw yourself on the mercy of people, they be like, damn. It happens every time. You know, I don't really believe in I'm sorry, but man, I'm going to have to pause. There's too many little quirky sounds. You know what I'm saying? Almost as though something else is in control of everyone around, and it decides what they do, and they're not even aware of it themselves. So we will continue this. Just understand what is going on. All right? You never knew who you were. And even when you find out you're not that anymore, there's some mixed down thing. Okay? And you're going to do more mixing, no matter how you try to refrain. Why? Because your children are you and you can't control them, and they're going to do that kind of stuff. Get prepared. So it's going to come out the same way. Either way, one race. If everybody keeps sleeping with us, eventually they're going to all be one race anyway. All breeds. Okay? If they start to keep sleeping with each other, they're going to be all breeds. And so just going that way, I'm trying to tell you it's already that way. And there's more to it than gas. That's why you gotta let us name it and define it and stuff, because the greatest minds was so far off. Okay? Remember the telepathic link. Alright? There's a cerebral type thing in effect, like the X-Men, that links all people. Okay? A different internet. Okay? A omninet. And they have no research. I want to talk about what Edgar Casey says and one all call man. Alright? They're not Edgar. And so let us deal with this universal connection. Don't go running your mouth trying to shout and tell people about something you really don't know about. Just be glad there's a solution. It lets you know that, damn, we might be able to pull this off. We might be able to. It's like he said, I don't see no reason why we can't fix everything. I don't see no reason why we can't live in utopia. There's nothing stopping us. There's nothing in the way. We need to get our head straight, man. I need to get my head straight. You need to get your head straight. I come up with a new neat trick for getting your head straight, I'm going to share it. That's what this is about. It wasn't about being elected to this, and especially elected to that. That was a means until an end. Alright? It's like that's what the situation called for. Okay? That's what you do. I saw the bat signal. And I came. Well, let this be put to a rest. So be glad that there's nobody just like you. You know, be an individual. You know, be one of the ones. This has been a message from the Self-Preservation Society. Sigh. Save yourself. And the whole world will. If everybody saved themselves, the whole world will be saved. One more in the bucket. Pew.